Famous football players who have been in prison 59%. Here is a comprehensive list of 59 footballers who have served prison sentences, along with brief details of their offences and penalties. 59 footballers who have been in prison. Brazil 1. Ronaldinho, detained in Paraguay for entering with a fake passport, served 32 days in jail and several months under house arrest. 2. Bruno Fernandes de Souza, goalkeeper convicted for orchestrating the murder of his ex-girlfriend, sentenced to 22 years. 3. Robinho, sentenced to 9 years in Italy for participating in a group sexual assault. 4. Dani Alves, sentenced to 4.5 years in Spain for rape. United Kingdom 5. Adam Johnson, convicted of sexual activity with a minor, sentenced to 6 years, served approximately 3. 6. Joey Barton, served 77 days for assault and affray. 7. Tony Adams, jailed for 2 months for drunk driving. 8. Duncan Ferguson, served 44 days for on-field assault, headbutting an opponent. 9. George Best, jailed for 3 months for drunk driving and assaulting a police officer. 10. Ian Wright, served 14 days for driving offences. 11. Lee Hughes, sentenced to 6 years for causing death by dangerous driving, served 3 years. 12. Jermaine Pennant, served 30 days for driving while disqualified. 13. Troy Deeney, served 3 months for involvement in a violent brawl. 14. Marlon King, multiple convictions including sexual assault and violence, served approximately 3 years in total. 15. Michael Boateng, served 16 months for attempted match-fixing and additional time for drug offences. 16. Stephen Vaughan Jr., jailed for perverting the course of justice in relation to a murder case. 17. Leon Jean, served multiple sentences for drug offences and dangerous driving. 18. Peter Swan, served 4 months for involvement in a betting scandal. 19. James Cotterill, jailed for on-pitch assault causing grievous bodily harm. 20. Callum Flanagan, sentenced to 8 months for dangerous driving. Colombia, 21. René Higuita, detained for 7 months for involvement in a kidnapping case, no charges filed. France, 22. Eric Cantona received a 2-week jail sentence, reduced to community service, for assaulting a fan. Denmark, 23. Stig Tofting, served 4 months for assaulting a restaurant owner. Belgium, 24. Nizar Trebelsi, sentenced to 10 years for plotting a terrorist attack. Netherlands, 25. Quincy Promes, sentenced to 6 years for cocaine smuggling, previously served 18 months for stabbing his cousin. Italy, 26. Ismail Hamaidat, jailed for a series of armed robberies. Lee, Germany, 27. Jan Ulrich, jailed and hospitalized for assault under the influence. Argentina, 28. Diego Maradona faced multiple short-term detentions for drug possession, tax issues and firearm offences. United Kingdom, continued. 29. Jamie Cassidy, sentenced to over 13 years for involvement in a multi-million-pound cocaine supply plot. 30. Jason Pusey, sentenced to 11 years for a $3 million drug operation. 31. Paul McDonald, received 7 years for large-scale drug trafficking. 32. Luke Skeet, sentenced to 28 years for leading a $260 million cocaine ring. 33. Adam Pepara, sentenced for involvement in the same drug operation. 34. Shaquille Hippolyte Patrick, sentenced for involvement in the same drug operation. 35. Jamal Joseph, sentenced for involvement in the same drug operation. 36. Andrew Harewood, sentenced for involvement in the same drug operation. 37. Melchi Emmanuel Williamson, sentenced for involvement in the same drug operation. United Kingdom, additional cases. 38. Ched Evans, convicted of rape, served over 2 years before conviction was quashed on appeal. 39. Michael Boateng, served 16 months for attempted match-fixing and additional time for drug offences. 40. Stephen Vaughan Jr., jailed for perverting the course of justice in relation to a murder case. 41. Leon Jan, served multiple sentences for drug offences and dangerous driving. 42. Peter Swan, served 4 months for involvement in a betting scandal. 43. James Cotterill, jailed for on-pitch assault causing grievous bodily harm. 44. Callum Flanagan, sentenced to 8 months for dangerous driving. 45. Jamie Cassidy, sentenced to over 13 years for involvement in a multi-million-pound cocaine supply plot. 46. Jason Pusey, sentenced to 11 years for a $3 million drug operation. 47. Paul MacDonald, received 7 years for large-scale drug trafficking. 48. Luke Skeet, sentenced to 28 years for leading a 260 million cocaine ring. 49. Adam Pepera, sentenced for involvement in the same drug operation. 50. Shaquille Hippolyte Patrick, sentenced for involvement in the same drug operation. This list highlights the diverse range of offences committed by footballers across different countries and leagues. While some cases involve serious crimes leading to lengthy sentences, others pertain to lesser offences resulting in shorter jail terms. It's a stark reminder that fame and talent do not exempt individuals from the consequences of their actions. If you're interested in more detailed information about any of these cases or wish to explore related topics, feel free to ask.